Barbara Hale told everything in the note she left behind. A note that changes everything. What she revealed would shake the very foundation of how we understood one of television's most beloved partnerships. But to truly understand the weight of her words, we need to go back to the beginning. Barbara Hale was born on April 18, 1922, in DeKalb, Illinois. She was the daughter of Luther Ezra Hale and Wilma Colvin Hale. Her family later moved to Rockford, Illinois, where she spent her early years. She grew up during the Great Depression, and Hale's early life was full of hard work, love for family, and a quiet strength that would later shape her career. These were not easy times. Families across America struggled to put food on the table. Young Barbara learned early what it meant to persevere. She watched her parents sacrifice and work tirelessly, values that would become the backbone of everything she did. She first wanted to become an artist and went to the Chicago Academy of Fine Arts. But things turned out differently. Her beauty and grace soon caught people's attention, which led her to modeling work, and then to movies. It was as if fate had other plans for this young woman from Illinois, plans that would touch millions of lives. She started working in Hollywood in the early 1940s when she signed with RKO Pictures. At first, she took small roles that didn't have her name listed. But it was clear that Hale had something special, a mix of honesty, grace, and quiet strength that made her different from others. Even in those brief, unnamed appearances, directors noticed something remarkable about her. There was an authenticity to her presence that couldn't be taught or faked. Her early movies, like Higher and Higher in 1943 and The Window in 1949, showed she could do many different things. She played light romantic parts and serious dramatic roles just as well. Over the years, she became a trusted and respected leading lady, appearing next to major stars like Frank Sinatra, Robert Young, and James Stewart. Audiences loved her for her warmth and intelligence, while directors appreciated her hard work and natural way in front of the camera. She never arrived late, never complained, and always brought her best to every scene. In an industry known for difficult personalities and inflated egos, Barbara Hale was a breath of fresh air. Barbara's biggest success, however, came on television, where she became forever known as Della Street, the loyal and intelligent legal secretary to Raymond Burr's Perry Mason. The television show Perry Mason, which ran from 1957 to 1966, became one of the most famous courtroom dramas in TV history. But what made it truly special wasn't just the clever mysteries or the dramatic courtroom reveals. It was the relationship between Perry Mason and Della Street, a partnership that felt real, lived in, and deeply meaningful. Hale's performance as Della Street was ahead of its time. During an era when women were often shown as housewives or less important characters, Della was confident, smart, and necessary to Mason's legal wins. She wasn't just taking notes or answering phones, she was solving cases, making connections, and standing as Perry's equal in every way that mattered. Young women across America saw in Della Street a different kind of role model, someone who proved that intelligence and loyalty were just as powerful as any other quality. Barbara's connection with Raymond Burr was amazing. They shared a deep respect and friendship that lasted for many years, both on screen and off. But just how deep did that connection go? That's the question that would haunt fans for decades, and the question that Barbara's final note would finally answer. Her performance as Della Street got her praise from critics and wide recognition. In 1959, she won the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Drama Series, cementing her place among television's best. The award was well-deserved, but for Barbara, the real reward was the work itself, and the partnership she had with Raymond Burr. Even after the original Perry Mason series ended, Hale played her beloved role again in more than 30 Perry Mason television movies between 1985 and 1995. These movies brought her character to new fans and showed that her appeal never faded with time. A new generation fell in love with Della Street, proving that great characters transcend their era. Working again with Burr until his death in 1993, Hale remained the emotional center of the series. Her calm voice, poised manner, and steady loyalty became synonymous with the heart of Della Street. Outside of her television fame, Barbara Hale's movie career was just as impressive. She appeared in more than 50 feature films, including well-known titles like The Boy with Green Hair in 1948, Jolson Sings Again in 1949, and Lorna Doone in 1951. Each performance showed her ability to bring depth and authenticity to every role. Unlike many Hollywood stars, Hale managed to keep a private and stable personal life while living in the spotlight of fame. Barbara Hale was loved not only for her talent, but also for her dignity and kindness. She carried herself with quiet confidence, never looking for scandal or trouble. In interviews, she often talked about how important family and faith were, caring about her home life even more than her fame. Co-workers often said she was gracious and generous, a true lady in every way. Her success in Hollywood was not built on glamour alone, but on honesty, hard work, and real love for her craft. In 1945, while working on the set of the Western film West of the Pecos, Barbara Hale's life took a romantic turn that would shape her off-screen happiness for many years to come. The movie, based on a Zane Grey novel, brought together a group of rising Hollywood talents. Among them, a young, handsome actor named Bill Williams, whose real name was Herman August Wilhelm Katt. Williams was a ruggedly good-looking performer known for his all-American looks and quiet confidence. Hale was a bright, poised actress who was starting to make her mark in the film industry. During the long days of shooting in the dusty desert landscapes and the quiet evenings spent with the cast and crew, Hale and Williams formed an immediate and undeniable connection. Their chemistry was as natural off-screen as it appeared on camera. What started as a friendly relationship soon grew into a deep and real romance. Hale was drawn to Williams's kindness, humility, and steady nature, qualities that stood out in the competitive, fast-moving world of Hollywood. He, in turn, loved her intelligence, her grounded manner, and her quiet strength, which fit well with his easygoing personality. The two shared similar values, including a love for family and a belief in hard work, which would become the foundation of their marriage. As their relationship grew deeper, they became inseparable, often seen attending Hollywood events together, though they both preferred quiet evenings at home more than the glitz and glamour of the film scene. Their love led to marriage on June 22, 1946, in a simple but heartfelt ceremony that reflected their down-to-earth natures. Despite both being working actors, Hale and Williams managed to create a marriage that survived the challenges of Hollywood's demanding schedules and constant attention. They were known among friends and co-workers as one of the most devoted and stable couples in the entertainment industry. A rare thing in a time when many celebrity marriages were short-lived, Hale would later recall that their marriage was built on mutual respect and shared laughter, two things that never faded. Even through the hardest times, together, they raised 3 children, 2 daughters, Jody and Juanita, and a son, William Katt, who would follow in his parents' footsteps to become a successful actor in his own right. The family was very close, with Hale often putting family above career whenever she could. She sometimes turned down roles to spend more time with her children, believing that her greatest role was that of a mother and wife. In an industry where children of famous parents often felt neglected or lost, the Hale-Williams children grew up surrounded by love and stability. Their home was filled with warmth, creativity, and support. Hale and Williams both created an environment that let their children explore their artistic interests, while also teaching them humility and kindness. Their son, William Katt, would go on to become famous, starring in the hit 1980s television series The Greatest American Hero, and later appearing alongside his mother in the Perry Mason television movies, a partnership that showed the deep bond between them. Hale was very proud of her children, often talking about how blessed she felt to have a family that shared her love for storytelling and performance. The marriage between Barbara Hale and Bill Williams lasted nearly 50 years, standing as proof of lasting love and shared devotion in an industry known for brief relationships. Through successes, career changes, and personal challenges, they remained devoted partners until Williams's death in 1992. Their relationship, built on friendship, faith, and mutual respect, not only brought them joy, but also served as an inspiring example of lasting love in Hollywood. A love story that, much like Barbara Hale herself, was filled with grace, strength, and steady loyalty. But there was another love story in Barbara's life, one that was never spoken about publicly, until she left behind a note that would change everything we thought we knew. For many years, Barbara Hale was beloved as the poised and intelligent Della Street, the loyal secretary to Raymond Burr's Perry Mason on television. Their on-screen chemistry captivated millions, creating one of the most lasting partnerships in television history. But behind the scenes, there were whispers of a deep and complicated friendship, one that, according to a note Barbara supposedly left behind before her death in 2017, may have been more meaningful than the public ever knew. This note, found among her personal belongings, has caused many to look again at the bond between Hale and Burr, suggesting that their connection went far beyond the television cameras. What she wrote in those pages would reveal a truth that was both simple and profound, a truth about love, loyalty, and the bonds that shape our lives in ways the world never sees. Barbara Hale had always been private about her personal life, rarely giving interviews that delved into her emotions or personal relationships. However, in the note she left, she finally shared feelings she had long kept hidden from the world. "Raymond was my rock," she wrote. "He gave me strength when I was uncertain, and he believed in me when I doubted myself." Those words offered a glimpse into a bond that was deeply rooted in mutual respect and care. Hale had worked with Burr for nearly 40 years, from the original Perry Mason series, 1957 to 1966, to the television movies that brought the cast back together starting in the 1980s. Their relationship lasted through time, loss, and change. Raymond Burr, known for his commanding presence and intensity, was a private man himself, often misunderstood by the media. Hale's letters suggested that the two shared an understanding that only they could truly comprehend. Ray had a gentle soul, Barbara noted. Behind the powerful voice and the intensity of his performances, there was kindness, humor, and deep loneliness. That statement revealed the quieter side of Burr's life, one that Hale seemed to know better than anyone else. She often defended him when tabloid stories questioned his personal life, insisting that he was one of the most caring people she had ever known. What made Hale's confession so surprising was how it seemed to go against her carefully constructed public image as the calm, steady professional. The note revealed an emotional depth that she rarely showed in interviews. "There were days when I leaned on Ray more than I should have," she admitted. "He carried me through the long hours, through the doubts, through the years when I wondered if I still mattered in Hollywood." Her words suggested that Burr was not just a co-worker, but a source of strength during moments of uncertainty and loneliness in her own life. Even with a loving husband and devoted family, there were parts of her professional life, her fears, her artistic doubts, that only Raymond Burr could truly understand. He had walked the same path, faced the same cameras, and carried the same weight of public expectation. Their friendship began when Hale was cast as Della Street in 1957, a role that would define her career. She and Burr quickly formed an easy rapport, their conversations often filled with laughter between takes. Hale later said, "We didn't have to act the friendship. You could feel it." Yet what the public never knew was how that friendship grew deeper as they aged. When Burr became ill in the early 1990s, Hale stayed by his side, visiting him often, even when filming was difficult. The note revealed that his death in 1993 left a void in her life that she never fully recovered from. "When Ray left us, something inside me went quiet," she confessed. "I still heard his voice every time I walked onto a set." For the remaining 24 years of her life, Barbara would carry that loss with her, a silent grief that few people truly understood. What makes Barbara Hale's note so powerful is its honesty. It was not written for the public, but for her family, to explain the deep friendship that shaped her life, both personally and professionally. "I think we loved each other in the truest way," she wrote. "Not through romance, but through the kind of loyalty that doesn't fade." That statement reframed their entire legacy. While Hollywood thrived on gossip about secret affairs and hidden scandals, Hale's truth was simpler, yet more powerful. A love that existed without boundaries or expectations. It was a love built on mutual respect, shared struggles, and an understanding that went beyond words. It was the kind of love that doesn't make headlines, but changes lives forever. Her children, especially her son William Cat, later spoke about how important Burr had been to their family. Cat once said that Burr was like an uncle to him, someone who always showed generosity and warmth. In her note, Hale confirmed that feeling. "Ray was family," she wrote. "He wasn't just Perry to my Della. He was a part of our lives." When Barbara Hale passed away on January 26, 2017, at the age of 94, the entertainment world mourned the loss of a beloved actress. But for those who found the note, her final words gave a new understanding of the woman behind Della Street. They revealed a person who valued loyalty above fame, caring above ambition, and truth above appearances. Her confession wasn't one of scandal. It was one of gratitude, of love, and of lasting friendship. In the end, Barbara Hale's letter didn't just change how people saw her relationship with Raymond Burr. It changed what it meant to love someone, deeply and quietly in a world obsessed with drama. "If I could speak to Ray again," she ended, "I'd simply say thank you for every word, every laugh, and every moment we shared in the story of our lives." Those words now serve as a touching reminder that some of the greatest love stories are not written in scripts, but in the quiet spaces between two hearts that understood each other perfectly. Barbara Hale passed away peacefully at her home in Sherman Oaks, California on January 26, 2017, at the remarkable age of 94. Her death marked the end of an era, not only for her devoted family and countless fans, but also for a generation of television viewers who had come to know and love her as Della Street, the poised and intelligent secretary who stood loyally beside Raymond Burr's Perry Mason for nearly 40 years. Hale's death was caused by complications from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, a condition that she had bravely fought in her later years, with the same quiet strength and dignity that had marked both her personal life and her career. Her passing touched people deeply throughout the entertainment industry as co-workers, fans, and television historians paused to remember the woman whose grace and dedication had made her a lasting icon. Tributes came in from around the world, many remembering her deep bond with Raymond Burr, both on and off screen. Together, they had created one of television's most lasting partnerships, a relationship built on mutual respect, care, and an unspoken understanding that went beyond the scripts they performed. With Hale's passing, many reflected on how she had become not just an actress, but the symbol of steady loyalty and quiet intelligence in an industry often ruled by glamour and ego. Barbara Hale's story teaches us something important about the nature of love and legacy in a world that celebrates loud declarations and dramatic gestures. She showed us that the deepest connections are often the quietest ones. Her life reminds us that true loyalty doesn't need recognition, that real friendship doesn't demand anything in return, and that the most meaningful relationships are built not on passion alone, but on respect, understanding, and unwavering support through the years. Her legacy lives on, not just in the hundreds of episodes and films she left behind, but in the example she set, an example of grace under pressure, of dedication to craft, of loyalty to those she loved, and of living a life true to her values. Even when the cameras stopped rolling, Barbara Hale proved that you could be a star without losing yourself, that you could achieve greatness without sacrificing your integrity, and that the greatest role anyone can play is simply being a good person. So the next time you watch an old episode of Perry Mason, look closely at the way Della Street looks at Perry Mason. Watch the care in her eyes, the subtle smile, the unspoken understanding between them. Now you know that what you're seeing isn't just acting. It's a reflection of something real, something that lasted decades and touched lives in ways the audience never fully knew. That's the true magic of Barbara Hale, the woman who showed us that love comes in many forms, and the deepest love of all is the kind that asks for nothing, but gives everything. What untold story from Hollywood's golden age has touched you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more incredible stories about the legends who shaped television history. Hit that notification bell so you never miss our next journey into the lives of Hollywood's most fascinating figures, because every legend has a story, and every story deserves to be told.